Hey guys, welcome to another lesson. Today we'll be talking about kingdom Animalia. We've been talking about the classification of living things in our previous videos. So today we are talking about the kingdom that is very common to many of us. That's the kingdom in which we are even a part of. We see organisms under this kingdom every day, the animals. So let's talk about the characteristics of the animals, the organisms under kingdom Animalia. One is that they are all multicellular organisms, which means they have multiple cells. Some have up to thousands or millions of cells. So all of them are multicellular organisms. Another one is that the DNA is located in the nucleus, which is enclosed with nuclear membrane. The DNA is found inside the nucleus of the cell, and it is enclosed with nuclear membrane. The cells of the animals have no cellulose. They have no cell walls also. Then all the animals possess nerve systems except the sponges. Only the sponges do not have a nervous system. Then all of them possess true tissues, except the sponges also. All of them possess true tissues except the sponges. Then the feeding of the animals is heterotrophic, which means they do not make their own food on their own. They feed heterotrophically by feeding on other organisms. Now, before we go into the division of this kingdom into the various phyla, we could divide this kingdom in various other ways. We could divide it into the vertebrates and the invertebrates. That is invertebrata and vertebrata. Now, as the name implies, the vertebrates are animals with a backbone. The invertebrates are animals without a backbone. Now, this kingdom could also be divided based on the body symmetry, body design, and body cavity. So let's talk about these different divisions. What do we mean by body symmetry? Classifying animals based on body symmetry. Now, the body symmetry can be defined as when we say body symmetry, we are talking about the fact that an animal has similar corresponding parts in size, shape, and position of opposing sides of a dividing line or a median plane. So what we mean by this is when you divide the animal into two, one side is corresponding with the other side. So if you divide it from the middle, the front side is corresponding with the back side. So that's the meaning of body symmetry. So we can classify animals based on their body symmetry. So animals could have various types of body symmetry. We have asymmetry, which is animals that have no body symmetry. And we have radial symmetry. This means the body of an animal can be cut along its axis to give two identical halves. Can be cut along any plane or in any place to give two identical two equal halves. Then we have the bilateral symmetry, which means the body of the animal can be cut along its axis in only one place to give two identical halves. That's what we mean by bilateral symmetry. We could also classify animals based on body design. Now, the body design is just talking about the shape of the body of the animal, the way it is shaped or the way it is framed, whether it has one exit or it has two exits. So we have sac-like body design and we have a tubular body design. Now, the sac-like body design, animals will have this kind of design, have a single opening that leads to the gut cavity, that means they would say they have just one opening, which is the mouth. So everything goes both in and out of this opening. Now, the tubular body design, these animals have double openings. That means they have two openings. They have an opening at the anterior end and an opening at the posterior end. When we say anterior, we could be referring to either front, and posterior could be referring to the back, or we could say anterior could be referring to top and posterior could be referring to bottom. So they have an opening at the anterior end and an opening at the posterior end. The opening at the anterior end we could call the mouth, and the opening at the posterior end could be called the anus. Now, we could also classify animals based on their body cavity. Now, a developing embryo of an animal has a primary layer called the germ layer, and this germ layer develops to form various body parts. So it's from the germ layer that an embryo develops to form the various body parts, the arms, the legs, the head, and the various body parts. Now, the tissue of primitive animals are derived from two layers of cells, the ectoderm and the endoderm. Now, animals that have two layers of cells, or let's say two germ layers, are called diploblastic animals. They have the ectoderm and the endoderm. An example of this such organism is the hydra. Now, most other animals are derived from three germ layers, which are the ectoderm, the mesoderm, and the endoderm. Now, these animals can be called the triploblastic animals. Now, animals that have three germ layers can also be further divided into three. We could say the acoelomates, the pseudocoelomates, and the coelomates. Now, the acoelomates, most of the time when we put a before a word, it means the animal is lacking that thing. So we say acoelomates, it means the animal is lacking body cavity. So acoelomates are animals without body cavity. Then the pseudocoelomates are animals with false body cavity. When we put pseudo before a word, it means an animal doesn't exactly have that thing, but it has a structure that resembles that thing, or it has a structure that is similar to that thing, but it's not exactly that thing. So the pseudocoelomate animals are animals with false body cavity. Then the coelomates are animals with true body cavity. So with that, we've come to the end of classification of animals based on different divisions or different purposes. Now we'll be talking in our next lesson. We'll be talking about the various phyla under kingdom Animalia. We'll be starting with phylum Porifera. See you next class.